Hello, everyone. Welcome to another match in the SGL tournament for Link to the Past Randomizer. Today, we've got a good one between Tso15 and Megawott, and this will be a losers top 32 match. The winner of this match will face the loser of Gem and Schulzer, which is currently scheduled for Saturday, November 6th. And both of these runners had pretty similar paths getting here. Both of them took losses in round 2 and then made it all the way over through losers here. So I'm Dane8373. I'm joined by VXR441. How you doing today, VXR?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Very well today. So yeah, what do you think about this matchup today?
Yeah, it should be an interesting one. It's win or go home, so it's very important for both of them.
Yeah, these but both, like I mentioned, how both of these runners they've got sent to losers in round 2, so they've already played a fair number of matches, because the way these tournaments work, once you get to losers, you have to play even more matches. So even the winner of this will still have a long grind potentially ahead of them.
Yep. I think it's like the 5th round of losers or something like that.
Yeah, they're 5th round overall.
Good question, Uncle.
See, I always thought that maybe either this is Uncle's house and Link's visiting, or Link is visiting and Uncle, or Link's house and Uncle's visiting, but who knows?
All right, that's a red crystal on Eastern. I think Hero's a regular pendant, and
yep,
Desmond's a green
pendant.
On
right. Very quick map check. And yeah, so anyone who's been watching this tournament probably pretty familiar with the rules, but just in case, a quick refresher, we've got basically casual boots, which means we do this standard escape sequence, starting with a sword and the boots. And additionally, we have a little bit of modifications to the item pool to make it a little more difficult. You'll be seeing a lot more heart pieces like that today, because the number of heart pieces has been increased and the number of heart containers has been decreased.
Yeah, basically, effectively replacing 8 heart containers with heart pieces.
Yep, that's correct. There's only 3 heart pieces total, heart containers total, sorry, one of them being Sank Heart, and then we get capped off at 14 hearts total.
Yep, and also we're capped at Fighter's Shield and Blue Mail, as well as Tempered Sword.
Yep, and interestingly though, one of the main differences between this and the standard heart item pool that you would see in like the main tournament is that silvers are available. However, there is only one bow, so you can get the silvers without having the bow, or vice versa. And so there's no 2 bows or getting a bow locked bow. It's just the one bow today.
The funny thing is, we've already seen 2 blue rupees, and blue rupees replace the extra shields and armor upgrades, but we haven't gotten any of those, so those are actually just regularly placed blue rupees, interestingly.
Yep, and they'll also replace our bottles once we get capped off at 2 bottles.
Right, that too.
And another thing about the bottles today, they will all be empty, so if you want to have any safeties, you have to fill them up yourself. You also see that there's the guards can drop bombs. It's going to be nice to get a few extra bombs, though. With the boots, you can always farm outside of the Fortune Teller house by Kakariko if you need them.
Yeah, and since we're starting with boots, we don't need to worry about explosives for back of escape.
Yeah, it makes the start of standard mode with the boots really streamlined, because you don't have to worry about drops. You just go through, do everything as fast as possible, and then you get the items back.
We get flippers out of the cell there.
Yeah, so the flippers, in casual boots, you generally will see runners sequence break the flipper checks anyway. So now we won't be able to do a water walk to the Zora area, which can be a little annoying sometimes, but you can at least still use their water walk to Hobo. And for runners at this stage, you'll see just really optimized getting through this escape sequence with the boots. It's always really nice to see. Oh, and chat asking about the fire shield. You can buy a fire shield from the Curiosity Shop. So if you really want to flex in this mode, just spend that 500 rupees, have a fire shield, have a good time. But I don't think we'll be seeing that today.
No.
And so, okay, so we have not seen our small key for escape yet, or the map either. So we'll see the small key in this dark cross, and then we'll see if the map shows up in the back, or maybe we get to skip the snake chest today. And yeah, so Chad asking about the trackers. The trackers are a bit slow today. SpeedGaming's network is having some issues, and tracker is included in that. So give our tracker a break. We got Scott G in here on tracking. So if there's a mistake with the tracker, it's normally because of the tracker eating inputs, but even more so today.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I guess that just means we as commentators are going to have to work a little bit harder today.
Yeah.
So far, all we've gotten is those flippers of anything noteworthy. And there was
escape is useless.
Yeah, just some money, which is, I guess, nice for the bottle vendor, and a couple of bombs, so we don't have to do any farming. I do believe that means the map is in the Sank chest, but it's also possible I missed it. I thought it was just blue rupees the whole way through, and then no map. You see both these runners getting out under 5:15, so pretty nice escape times there. And it is the map, so you see Tso counted the items, and Megawott went back to the map. And if you're not 100% sure, you definitely want to open that chest to make it sure.
Yeah, I don't want to leave behind, like, the bow.
And then this opening for casual boots, it's pretty standard. You just go get this Bonk Rocks item. A lot of runners will elect to go and check the Lumberjack Cave because you already have a sword and boots, so you're pretty close to being able to beat Aghanim and get that Lumberjack item already. And then you'll see runners go over to Kakariko. There are some plays you can make. You can set up a water walk out of Skullwoods and water walk to the Flippers checks, but generally you'll just see runners go straight to Kakariko.
Yeah, it's just a red rupee on Lumberjack Ledge.
Yep, so no Aghanim will be required for getting that item. We still may need it for the Dark World access later. And there's our first bottle, as mentioned before. They will always be empty. It's very nice to get that bottle low before going into Kakariko for Sick Kid.
That's a convenient book. You can check Ped while you're here.
Yeah, we'll see if any of the runners may decide to go all the way back there. It definitely is a play you can make.
Big magic drops with a tier 2 tree pull.
And
okay,
we'll see the peg.
I guess Megawatt's gonna skip it.
We do have 2 Light World pendants today, so the ped's not going to require too much. We also the book also gives desert access, and here we do see Megawott doing something I mentioned earlier, which is without the water walk because we already have flippers. You can elect to go over here and do your Ice Rod Cave and flippers checks early. I personally sometimes like doing the Kakariko a little bit later if you don't have a bottle, because then like the worst case you'll end up just getting an extra bottle maybe, and then you can not leave behind Sick Kid. It's also great to find the flute. But just a blue boomerang and Ice Rod Cave today.
Megawatt's gonna be really careful here.
Yeah, you really want to use this water walk here to get to Hobo. With the flippers, though, we could see just a water walk over to Hobo and then save and quit, perhaps, because he doesn't have Zora money. The water walk really saves a lot of time on Hobo, though.
On Quake in the well. Oh, another sword on Lake Highway Island, and hookshot on Bottle Vendor.
Yeah, that's definitely a good purchase there from that bottle vendor. Tso almost going down, getting too excited from that hook shot and forgetting about Blind's Hut. And yeah, Megawatt does give a save and quit, and I think that route makes a lot of sense because as long as you don't find the food, it does take a while to walk from Mini Moldorm Cave to Ice Rod Cave. You can use the flippers there. Maybe you get something nice. And also, now you get to use the Water Walk to Hobo.
Oh, Sword and Lamp and Blind's hideouts. Well, Ag is available now.
Yep, Blind gave us the tools we need to beat Aghanim today. And also got our last bottle of the seed there for Tso, getting his second, and now every other bottle will just be replaced with Blue Rupee. And we get to see Megawatt going down to Mini Moldorm Cave, going to kind of continue this, putting off Kakariko a little bit.
Mini Moldorm Cave not giving us anything good.
Yeah, this is a bit interesting because now he's going to go over to the dam, and you might be tempted to go over to like Agina, but with the book, that's a bit risky because you might end up having to go into desert later, and without the lamp or the glove, if there's an item on those Land Molus or Green Pendant, then you might have to come back. Though we haven't seen, we've seen a lamp in Kakariko, but no glove. Because if there was like a lamp and glove in Kakariko, and then you go over to desert first, then you might feel a little bad about skipping that. Oh, and Tso, you're probably going to want that Bombos.
There's 2 medallions already, so lessens the chance of needing to go on an ether hunt.
And yeah, I think chat's right that you're dependent here. I'm just a bit surprised because with getting the book, I feel like you'd want to do more of Kakariko first, just because you might pull a glove out of there. But we know there's not one there, so it's not going to be no problem there. Looks like we're going to see Tso head up to the mountain with that hook shot hand glove. But he's setting up a hula hand there, actually. He's showing us the rare flippers, boots, and no glove hula hand. So you just go up and bonk off that tree, hold downward. I'm sorry, what were you?
I've never seen this hula hand strat.
Yeah, it's definitely a good one to know because when you get the flippers, you can't do that common one. But this one, you just go up and bonk on that one rock and dash turn downward, and then you're good. And just don't go too high on the screen. And yeah, that's definitely, that hula hand makes a lot of sense because he's at 453. He's going to want to do all of the water checks at once.
Oh, I think the rules to Sarah you want. I'm going to post those.
I believe we just haven't seen anything yet in desert. Did you catch the first item? I thought I might have saw the single arrow, but I might have just been missing things.
I saw a single arrow in the dam.
Okay, that's what it was then. There's 10 bombs on the Torch of Desert, so there should just be the one more item. I believe we had to meet small key in the first chest, and then we saw big key and map on the right.
All right, that's both items.
Yeah, I think it's definitely good for Megawatt there because if he... I guess it doesn't matter either way because we don't see a glove anywhere that's easily accessible like Kakariko, but if you had left behind the second item here, it might be a little bit inconvenient.
Yeah, although Pet's dead, this is the green pendant.
Yeah, and if it had, so it would basically be 2 items from Land Moles if there was one there. Oh, but there's the glove.
There's the glove.
So not going to be tempted by that green pendant at all. So that glove will allow us to go up to the mountain, which I don't think you'll see Megawatt do right away, but with this south route to Kakariko, though, I think you actually will see him go straight there after getting the hook shot and land. And meanwhile, Tso has gotten enough rupees to check Zora, so we'll get to see the whole Zora area from him over here. Because at this point, the runners are, they're really going to be looking for that Moon Pearl. Because like you have Aghanim access, you could find Dark World access somewhere else as well, but you don't want to generally dip Aghanim when you have this much left.
Yeah.
Without the Moon Pearl.
Oh gosh, the double beeps.
Yeah, Tso really wants to know that he is in danger with those double beeps. With those crabs, you're pretty much always in danger, though. It's always nice when you have the flippers and can store the water walk right there, save a little bit of time. Alright, so we'll get to see some new checks over here from Tso. We got the Waterfall Cave and the Zora area. We can even get the ledge with the real flippers today.
Oh, more money. Yeah, we will get a fairy from the fairy.
Yeah, actually, so fairies I think are fairly important in this mode sometimes, because sometimes you'll get the cape and a bottle and have like 5 hearts, and that'll put Spike Cave into logic, but you don't really, the games, they basically intend you to go buy a green potion or something, but that's not going to happen.
I don't think we mentioned that half magic does not exist in this mode. It's replaced by a small magic decanter.
Yep, that's a good point. Let me see, the Zora ledge is nothing of value today. We'll see if Zora himself is going to give us anything good.
Oh, mail upgrade.
Yep, in this mode you can get that blue mail, but no red mail. And it's definitely nice to get blue mail in this mode, because you'll have some seeds, like these guys are in 4 hearts. They're 1 item away from Dark World access. So you could end up doing really low heart Dark World. The blue mail kind of mitigates a lot of the difficulty from that. And looks like we're seeing Tso go over to do the same stuff that Megawatt did, which makes a lot of sense, because without that glove, the mountain's not available to him, so there isn't really, you got eastern area or desert, and so he's going to pick desert, and he'll get that glove.
Okay, where's Dane gonna head now?
Looks like Megawatt's
Megawatt, I'm sorry.
It's okay, I'm not even going anywhere, but
yeah,
Megawatt's going to go up to the mountain. It makes a lot of sense with this hook shot.
Lamp.
Yeah, the lamp puts it in logic. So oftentimes when I see a seed like this where you get the hook shot, I just think that the Moon Pearl's in Paradox Cave, and then it's Aghanim, because the hook shot is often correlated with Aga seeds, because if they were to go into the Dark World now without the hook shot, then all you have is Catfish, Pyramid Ledge, and then some number of checks in Pod. Whereas with the hook shot, they got the whole West Dark World. But we'll see. Sometimes you can get bailed out and find the hammer up here or something. Or Mitts and the Moon Pearl. And we'll also see if Tso decides to do the green pendant or not here.
Oh, there's the bow on top of Spectacle Rock.
Yep, so bow is mirror lock,
and
there
the
are
Mitts.
those Mitts. So the Mitts will right now, in the immediate term, give us King's Tomb, but the more important part is that now they're just Moon Pearl away from not having to do Aghanim today.
Yeah, my MOA fight isn't that great.
No,
Just
especially
Master Sword.
with only 3 bombs, too, because sometimes you can do weird bomb strats with Master Sword spins, but I guess if people got the 10 bombs, you could, but I'm not going to want to get those. And we'll get to see this Paradox Cave is going to have 7 items for us. It's likely the Moon Pearl is going to be over here. It could still be on Pyramid Dwarf King's Tomb, or there could be some other sort of progression in here. Or we could have to go to the Eastern area, which is still completely unchecked. All right, it looks like Tso is going to go over and do Desert. And I think this happens a lot where there's the green pendant. And also, but oh, by the way, there's the mirror, so that gives us Hera and the bow. So that's going to be great for Megawatt. But what I was saying about this green pendant is sometimes when you haven't made a trip to Sahasat or Eastern, the green pendant is a lot more appealing when you're right here. Because you say, if you have to turn that in at any point, you're going to save a lot of time getting it now.
Yeah.
But that's also a huge bait sometimes, and it just doesn't pay off. It's definitely something you gotta evaluate.
Yeah, just a harpies on the floating island.
But that mirror on that we saw from Megawatt there, that's really big for that bow, because now if there's something over in the Eastern area, Eastern's a crystal. Megawatt will be able to full clear it. So a quirk about Land Molus is that Master Sword slashes do not do any more damage than Fighter Sword slashes, just like the other Light World bosses. But bombs do a good amount of damage as well. I believe they do the same as the Master Sword spins. And the good thing about the bombs is you can sometimes get double hits and hit more than one Land Molus at the same time.
That's a nice bunny, right? Let's not do a map check right now. And let's see what Ether Tablet gives us. Oh.
There's our half magic.
I've seen that show up there so much lately for some reason. Alright, we're gonna get the pendant Hera dip here.
Yeah, we'll see how far Megawatt elects to go in here. With the hookshot and boots, it's nice and quick to clear, so wouldn't be surprised to see him clear it out just because Hera is such a quick clear. Ooh, definitely good thought there by Tso picking up the 1 bomb over in the 50-50 rock. But nope, looks like Megawatt's gonna just elect to just get that shovel and leave. Now, interestingly, Tso did check pedestal, so he knows that he does not need to get the pendant from Hera. So if he wanted to go a little bit higher, trying to gamble getting the second item out of like the big chest, and then just leaving, that's a possibility too. We'll have to see. And Megawatt showing us the correct way to do this, where you do Eastern first if you have, unless you're looking for something to make Eastern easier. You can do it if you're going to do both of these no matter what. When Eastern's a crystal, then just go over and beat it. I guess the one argument is you could find like the hammer and then go and do Pod and Eastern together with the mirror, but that's not super likely, is it, right? Well, it looks like Tso is going to go for the hover for these mitts.
Ooh. Nice.
Very nice. Even gets the hover back. Very nice. Saved some time off the bomb jump even. Yeah, you have to be very confident in your hover to go for that one, because if you get one shot and if you fail it, you lose like more time than it would take you to walk over. But here's our map check. We got Pendant Swamp and Red Crystal and Skull.
Did not see what was on the right side eastern there.
No, I was too distracted by the hover. And I don't know that we haven't seen anything interesting in Eastern yet. Looks like he's gotten the big key at least, otherwise he wouldn't come down here. Yeah, I think that might have been the first item in Eastern there. So we're down to basically Saha's hut plus whatever else is left in Eastern for our progression. We could be required to do Aghanim for the Moon Pearl, which is never fun, but we'll see.
Nope.
They still got other options. And wow, we got blue rupee and green rupee in Eastern so far. And looks like Tso's gonna do Super Bunny Cave as a bunny.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't see this too much nowadays, but it definitely is a play that you can make that can sometimes pay off.
There's powder.
Yeah, it's an interesting powder because they'll be able to check that when they get to the Dark World. So as soon as they get the Moon Pearl, that's in logic, but it's because you can mirror it and detect it without the hammer. Magic Bat leading to the hammer is a very annoying but surprisingly common thing.
It's bombos for Turtle Rock.
And down goes Armos Knights for Megawatt. There was nothing of any value in Eastern though, but we do need that for the crystal anyway. So we'll get to take a look at Saha, and then there's also the one other item in Tower of Hera, as well as the shovel check as some wild cards for, and also Green Pendant turn-in.
Yep.
And
both boomerangs.
Yep, but nothing, no progression. So we've got shovel, second item Tower of Hera, and Green Pendant for progression, or we could just have the Pyramid Ledge. So we'll see that shovel right here from Megawatt. And now I'm interested to see how far into Hera Tso is going to go. Because he might go for the second item.
Oh, there it is.
Yep, I mean, that's almost French vanilla, right? We got the shovel out of Hera and the Moon Pearl from shovel.
I guess.
That's definitely very good for Megawatt because the other two options would be things he would have to be going back to if it was not the Pyramid Ledge. So you might have even seen him gamble Aghanim there because if he's already losing a minute if he has to go back to Land Molus or back to Hera. And pretty straightforward now that he's got just the mitts and the Moon Pearl here. Can go into the Village of Outcasts area. We've got Crystal Thieves today, but you don't have the hammer, so that's always a risky dip.
And looks like Tso's gonna go up.
Yep, as we mentioned earlier, Tso has checked Pedestal and seen that it's dead, so he's not going to be going out of his way to beat the pendant here if he gets the second item. But
The
no,
last
no
item's
luck.
either Moldorm or Basin. Oh, there's the Canis Amari and Skullwoods.
Yep, so we'll see if that cane... Sometimes when an item like the cane and Skullwoods, it can be very good for people who dip Skullwoods if, say, the Fire Rod is locked by the Canis Maria in Misery Mire, or it doesn't even have to be locked by the Canis Mire if it allows you to single dip Mire. That can be good. But it also, without the hammer, a lot of runners will dip Skullwoods here. And of course...
This is okay.
Yeah, so Tso's not even going to go and check that. I don't blame him. And like I said earlier, he doesn't need the pendant, so just saves and quits immediately there to not deal with any of the fanfare.
Alright, so now Tso's gonna head off to Eastern. He's gonna be able to see the green pendant. We'll see if this is important. Yep, V-Train left an item in the basement.
Yeah, the screen pendant will be big for Tso because that's a lot of where his time has been, but nope, just one of those blue rupees. Because Tso did elect to beat the Land Molus, whereas Megawatt did not, and that's one of the main time differences going on right here. Another time thing that Tso did is use that Super Bunny glitch to get the powder. So if you're wondering how... These runners have done a lot of the same stuff, it's just that Megawatt has done a few skips that Tso did not, and was able to get the Moon Pearl.
Oh, nice hammer.
Yeah, hammer in Thieves Town in the front. If it was in the back, that's always annoying, but hammer in the front of Thieves Town, that's perfectly acceptable. So now we can full clear Thieves Town, get that crystal. Also can full clear Pod now as well. Even Swamp with Swamp's of Pendants, so probably won't see a rush over there. But it looks like we can also clear out Ice Palace. So these runners actually have a lot. Looks like we mainly are going to be looking for the flute and those rods now. Potentially Ether Medallion. Because with this scene was very linear in the early game, but with getting that hammer and now having access to so many dimensions, I think you'll see some overworld checks on the way, but just beat those crystals.
Mm-hmm.
This back of Thieves Town, never fun to do. This hallway can be quite annoying. Unless you get the odd pixel and don't get the enemies don't ruin it for you.
There's the flute.
Oh yeah, this is the loaded Thieves Town so far, just with that hammer and flute, because that gives you most of the stuff we need. Now you can... I wouldn't be surprised to see Megawatt go right over to Mire relatively soon here, because you just mirror and activate the flute, and you gotta know if you need that Ether Medallion anyway.
Yeah.
Because we already have seen... Well, actually, no, Megawatt has not seen Turtle Rock as combo, so only Tso saw that. Because Mire's even full clearable at this point, assuming we can get it.
Right.
And we've got the small key locked in its chest today. No need to check the Thieves Town big chest today. I'm going to see some simultaneous bosses on these between these two runners, with Tso going into Armos about the same time that Megawatt will be into blind.
Very nice blind fight from Megawatt and a nice Armos Knights fight from Tso as well.
Yep, pretty much simultaneous boss kills. And so we'll have to see when Tso probably, he needs to go check that shovel to get the Moon Pearl.
And I'm going to activate the flute here. Pretty convenient with that flute spot. And you use the mirror and you end up right in front of the statue.
Yeah, it's really nice. So I'm wondering how much of the... Because if the flute wasn't in there, I think you just finish out Village of Outcast, walk south to Hype Cave, and then you go to Pod. But with that flute, you might be tempted to route more aggressively and just go right over to the Mire area. Maybe clear out Mire if it's available. But he's going to do Hype Cave and stuff first.
We haven't seen this yet.
Yeah, and I think this makes a lot of sense because like sometimes you want to put off Mire to a little later because you can get to go mode it. It's only got 2 items in it. I'm not optimistic about Hype Cave considering how little these runners still need, but we'll see if he surprises me.
Okay, a mushroom.
Oh yeah, and chat pointing out that Megawatt can pick up that Tempered Sword, which I think, yeah, this would be a really good time to pick it up. It'll make your boss fights a lot quicker.
With that mushroom, Megawatt can fake powder.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised to see him do that at this point. We do know that powder is available and in Logic now that we have the Moon Pearl. It's just I don't expect to see Megawatt go over to Kakariko until he goes to like Smith Chain or something, and I don't think we'll see Smith Chain for quite a while just because of all the dungeons you can beat.
Hammer was in the front of Thieves Town. Yeah, Megawatt's gonna go Ice Palace.
Yeah, because we got Ice Palace and Pod and potentially Mire. As long as we can get in, then we can clear up. And Ice Palace with the Cane of Samaria is probably the fastest of the 3. And plus, we've got the Rule of Fire. They'll probably just find the Fire Rod in here.
Right.
And Tso is going to make the same decision that Megawatt did, which it makes a lot of sense when you don't have the hammer. You don't want to leave behind the hammer up here. Gets rewarded with the Cane of Samaria. Also, welcome to our SpeedGaming Portuguese Raiders. We got this match between Megawatt and Tso. It's fairly linear front of the scene. Tso did beat the Land Molus and did Super Bunny as a bunny and did Zora, so he did it to do a Houlihan for money. So that's basically the margin we've got here between the two runners.
Nice icebreaker there.
Yeah, it really makes Ice Palace just so much quicker.
And we're got the double leaps. Oh.
Yeah, those murder dactyls are no joke. Tso does have 2 fairies, so he's down to 1 now. And we're going to see some new checks here from Tso. Megawatt did not go over here. He went right to Village of Outcast. Nothing useful in Ice Palace so far. just the heart piece over in Graveyard Ledge.
Got one item left in ice.
Yeah, so it's going to be either on Cold Stare or right here. And so that King's Tomb Graveyard Ledge didn't really give us anything. At this point, we just need the Fire Rod, the Rice Rod, and maybe a Medallion.
Looks like Tso's gonna head off to the Thieves' Town now and get that hammer and flute.
Yeah, once he jumped down from Graveyard Ledge and knew that he was going to dash right back over here. Alright, so Megawatt going into this Cold Stare fight. Cold Stare can be a bit annoying in this mode because you need to make sure you're concerned about your magic with the low potions and no half magic, but with Bombos and Tempered Sword, no problem.
A very clean fight.
And just rupees, really, a nice balance today. Ooh, looks like Tso's going to do some more of the south checks before going into front of Thieves. So he's definitely not going to feel too great when he finds that hammer in the very front of Thieves.
And Pod will be the next play for Megawatt. That is a lot of digs.
Yeah, it's a pretty mean shovel game, just for 300 rupees. We haven't seen these checks from Megawatt because once he got that hammer and flute, you have so many dungeons and so little that you need. And you see this from sometimes where like Tso is doing, where you don't even bother dipping the front four of Thieves because you've got so many more checks down here. You want to find the hammer first. It's just unfortunate for him that the hammer is in the front of Thieves.
Yeah. Spend 10, get 20. Sounds like a good deal.
We'll see if Tso elects to check Powder here, which is a play he could make since he has that. He knows it's in logic, and he's going to right now. Which you do lose your portal if you do, but that might actually get him into the front of Thieves Town quicker. But nothing for the bat today, just getting 20 bucks. And since Pod was Bollock today, it's often that these are just both keys because there can only be 2 non-keys in the front of Pod. 2 non-small keys, at least there could be a big key as well. And so if there's already 1 non-small key, then the odds are those are both going to be smalls. And then an insulting purple chest there, getting just the green rupee. That was a big bust for the Smith chain. I didn't catch what the vanilla big key chest was, other than that it wasn't a key.
It was a map.
So all the items are going to be in the back today.
Here comes the Thieves Town play.
Yeah, it definitely is not going to be feels good to find the hammer in the front right here.
Yeah,
you can see he's not happy about that, because of the way he routed it. It's perfectly reasonable to just stay out of Thieves until you know more about how far you're going to want to go in there with the hammer. And then when you find the hammer in the front specifically, you don't feel good. If you find it in the back, you think, okay, maybe my opponent dipped the front 4 and came back here later than I did. But when you find it in the front, it is most of the people that came in here just did the front 4. We're running low on locations over here in pot.
Yeah, it's still 3 items, 2 items now.
Yep, as is the case often where you get a lot of... Yeah, coming out of Thieves Town, Megawatt's doing pretty good, so there's just not as many items that can show up now.
Yeah.
In this Helma fight with the tempered sword and having the cane to get to him quickly and having the boots and stuff should be a pretty nice fight. Because you can sometimes in this mode come up on the almost NMG Helma, where Helma in the NMG run is not nearly as free as he is in Randomizer, because you're in here on like 6 hearts with green mail and Master of Fighter Sword. It's definitely not a free fight. And the turtle's being a little bit uncooperative today. Alright, time for the Helmet Sword fight. Gonna need 17 hits to that mast with the hammer, and then pick your poison for beating him. Probably we'll see 4 tempered sword slashes. And we have yet again pretty close together boss kills, or boss fights, I say. Megawatt will definitely finish Helmet before Tso does finish blind. And Pod also empty today.
Yeah, both had very nice fights.
Yes, Tso really stayed on that blind script. Alright, so Megawatt still has some Village of Outcast checks, but you'll probably... I expect to see the Mire area, at least to see what medallion you need.
We have not seen the mushroom. Alright, we're gonna see hammer pegs here. This is something Megawatt was not able to do.
Yeah, Megawatt, I don't even know if Megawatt did Brewery or C-shaped house.
That is Quake, so we do not need to find Ether today. And the Fire Rod.
Nice. You still get to do the spooky action glitch through Misery Mire today, and also puts one item closer to go mode.
But the problem is, it's an Ice Rod hunt.
Yeah, that's never fun. we have seen some pretty mean Ice Rod hunts. So this seed could either be really nice and straightforward, or it could be really mean depending on where that Ice Rod is. We already know it's not on pedestal, so but I think it's likely that this is probably going to be a nice seed because there's so much on the mountain that like you just go and gamble T-Rock here, and then you got Hookshot Cave, and Super Bunny Cave, and T-Rock, and there's just a lot of good opportunities to get your Ice Rod on the way. Because like you beat Meyer, you beat Skullwoods here, you've already cleared out most of the stuff. I mean, Megawatt still has a lot in like Village of Outcasts area, but we already know that's nothing. So then it's basically to be, is it in the mountain or in like Pendant Swamp? We'll see how nice the Meyer key layout is going to be. There's the Ice Rod, so that's going to be interesting. Because I think Megawatt will elect to go up to the mountain. There's just more checks. Now that is the one that you could save your portal for, so wouldn't be too surprised if we see like Megawatt go through Turtle Rock, and he could get to those. I don't think he's even done C-shaped house or brewery, so he might have a chance to do those.
Fire Rod is in Meyer's shed.
But this is definitely going to be interesting because Tso, Megawatt's going to have a lead, but I don't think he's going to get that Ice Rod before Turtle Rock, and then it's just a matter of how much time is he able to, how long does it take him to find that Ice Rod? And so, also on the flip side, Tso could save a lot of time if he does Meyer before Palace of Darkness, because he'll get to go mode Pod and Meyer. We see the big key being there. If the big key was in one of the first two checks, that'd be very good for Tso, because he's going to be go moding Meyer this seed, whereas Megawatt is not. Oh, and here we are. We're going to see Tso do Meyer. So Tso's going to hit his go mode way before Megawatt. Megawatt is a couple of dungeons ahead in terms of completing them, but man, this is going to be an interesting race.
Yeah, maybe able to go mode Ice as well.
Yeah, I thought he was going to jump into Ice right after that, but I guess he even went to Meyer before that. Not even going to check the second chest. He is definitely going to go mode everything. And yeah, you see Tso's not feeling great because like this is a really quick go mode. All you need to do is do Village of Outcasts to Stumpy and then go to Meyer. And you got to think your opponent did that, but we know that's not the case, and he definitely has a really good chance this race. Oh man, I don't know what to expect, VXR. How do you think this is going to play out?
I think this is going to be a close one, especially if Megawatt gets to Stumpy sooner rather than later.
Yeah, it's going to be, to me, depend on like how Megawatt approaches his remaining checks, because if you go up and you do the mountain and you get all those checks, go through Turtle Rock to Laser Bridge, don't find the Ice Rod, on the one hand, like those Village of Outcasts checks are really quick. But on the other hand, like, you know your opponent probably did them, so you might want to not risk checking them. So yes, Megawatt did double, that was where the Moon Pearl was, but Megawatt has not, I don't think he's done She-Shaped House or Brewery, he hasn't done Smith Chain or Hammer Pegs, but you're not gonna, if we assume he goes to Turtle Rock first, you're not gonna want to do any of the mirror checks. And there's also a chance that he just doesn't go up to he does South Dark World first, because those mirror checks specifically, you may want to get those out of the way, but it depends how aggressive you're feeling. So we'll know a lot more about this seed. We'll know if he decides to go check the south stuff before rushing the mountain, and then when he goes to the mountain, where does he go next? And there's a nice, pretty quick, solid damage boosting spin strategy fight from Megawatt on Vitreous. We got more double beeps from Tso.
And Tso trying to do the door state extension here, and gets it.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy trick to pull off, so good for him to pull it off there. All right, Megawatt. So the thing is, Megawatt is going to be in Skullwoods, but it's so far to walk that he'd have to still commit to coming back here if he wanted to go to the South Dark World. Tso not wanting to use Powder here, because Powder will ruin your spooky action setup. So if you are really confident that you're not going to get hit here, then I think he has a fairy too. He had two.
Yeah.
So he's not at risk of dying, but he wants to preserve that spooky action glitch and not Powder until the end. And you see, he gets that spooky, so definitely, so far looking like it's worth it. So chat asking about spooky action glitch. It's a glitch where you shoot the fire rod at stuff and it hits, the fire rod splash damage hits somewhere else other than where it should, and you use it to hit those switches. Like you saw, if you look at the top of the screen, that switch just got hit from a distance. So it's really cool. And who coined it as spooky? It's from a quantum mechanics term called spooky action at a distance, involving like paired particles. It's a stolen name. Particle physicists give things names like spooky stuff and strange quarks, you know, they're out here with the names. And there's a very nice fight there by Tso. Both these runners did a pretty good job on the Vitreous fight. All right, so Tso's still got a decent amount of dungeons left, but the good thing is he's going to get to go mode all of them. And there was a pretty quick Mothula fight there by Megawatt. And there's our second item of Skullwoods, so Megawatt will not have to go any further into Skullwoods. Though if he got the big key and had to go back, that may actually put him closer to checking some of the very close South Dark World checks, especially in this Ice Rod. Because like sometimes if you skip a check, you're like, oh, my opponent did this, if it's there, I lose. But with Ice Rod, that's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
But I definitely do not fault Megawatt for rushing Mountain if he does here, because there's just so many checks there. But it is definitely a very aggressive play to skip the South Dark World. But I mean, sometimes you just got to make those plays, and we'll see how it works out for today. Gonna turn in that mushroom, probably maybe fill up some potions. And we see Tso is going to hit that switch before doing Icebreaker because he's in go mode. He doesn't want to have to worry about finding the big key. And yeah, so the point about saving the portal and checking non-mirror locations, definitely agree. I don't think he has very much Light World left. Like, I think he's got King's Tomb. Not very much left. But there's that philosophy where you might want to skip the super early checks, but then again, the fact that everything else is mirror locked, I think we will see him get back to it pretty quickly. But the fact that Tso gets to go mode pod even, not have to go in the back pretty much at all, will be a good time save.
Yeah. Okay, here it just looks like TR.
Yeah, we'll see Super Bunny and Hookshot Cave before, but yeah, definitely, this is the most dense location that Megawatt has left. Oh, he does have Zora as well. Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff, so we'll see how he elects to approach it. Tso you have to be a little bit careful again. Still has that fairy, so not a risk of dying, but you'd like to keep that safety, especially when he is hard go modeing everything. Did not even check the second chest of Mire Shed when he got the fire on.
Yeah.
And I really agree with that, because like the only thing that's going to really help you is silvers, and there's so many locations left that any single chest is so unlikely to be silvers that if you're going to skip any, you should skip basically all of them.
Oh, the other male upgrade in Hookshot Cave.
So there is no half magic in this mode. I guess the cape could help too, but these runners are very skilled. I think with Blue Mail and 9 hearts, they're feeling really solid about how they're going to do. And this is always great when you get to Go Mode pod. Unfortunately, it's not one of the great Go Mode pods where you have the big key on the front, but it's at least not a big key in Dark Maze Go Mode pod. And we'll get to see on Megawatt side, something that also could come into play here is how quick of a Go Mode Turtle Rock will this be. You can save a little bit of time in Turtle Rock if the big key is not going to be vanilla, because then you can do the key steal and go for the 97% chance that it's not, that you don't have to get a big chest key. And yeah, so once Megawatt gets out of here without the Ice Rod, he's gonna try to save the portal, most likely. So, for those who are not familiar with that, the way you do that is you just mirror at Laser Bridge, and then if you want to do a light roll check, it's fine. You just do them and then climb back up the mountain. Your portal will stay there. If you want to do a dark roll check and you haven't defeated Aghanim, or you don't have the mirror, which that's not going to happen because you need the mirror to do this trick, then you just need to take a death warp instead of saving and quit to get back to the light roll. So like when Megawatt comes out of here, you generally will see him. Like, if you have to do a mirror check like K45, then your portal is it's doomed, or Swamp Palace. So you'll tend to value the checks that are not mirror locked, so that you can keep your portal.
Yeah. Oh.
And that bump can be a little tricky sometimes.
There we go.
And we're going to see this cool Cane of Samaria trick here, where you dash over the peg. Very nice. And well, yeah, so chat pointing out that if there's a key in the big chest here, then that is the 3% layout where you can't steal the key for Turtle Rock, so it's more likely now that we've seen a key in the lava chest. But it's still not a very high chance. There's the big key for Tso. We'll be able to go over to the boss. So basically, if you arrived right, the real story of the seed is Tso's done a lot of overworld that Megawatt has not, and one of those overworld checks that he did is Stumpy for the Ice Rod. Megawatt is currently in Turtle Rock looking for the Ice Rod, will not find it, but he's ahead by basically a dungeon and a half or so, because he's got Skullwoods and Pod over Tso. But Tso is in go mode, so he gets to save time. So basically, Megawatt's going to have a ticking clock as soon as he gets out of Laser Bridge to go find that Ice Rod before Tso passes him up. Also, I didn't see what was in the big chest, but I don't think it was a key. Yeah, it wasn't. He had one key going in here. So we are not in the 3% seed. You're safe to steal a key and skip the big chest and the vanilla big key chest. All right, Helmosaur fight for Tso. This should be, again, pretty straightforward fight with the equipment he's got. And down goes Helmosaur. We'll see what's on Laser Bridge today. Maybe you at least get silvers, but we know that the thing that he's looking for, the Ice Rod's not going to be in its home away from home of Laser Bridge.
Oh, gotta be careful. Okay, gonna use a potion.
Yeah, no Cane of Burna, no cape. You just have to do regular laser skips here. So no Ice Rod. Megawatt is going to go out of here, and we'll see where he goes now, because he's still, if he goes to Stumpy pretty fast, he's still going to have a decent lead, but we'll see how long it takes for him to get to Stumpy.
Yeah, the clock is ticking because Tso's gonna finish up Skullwoods and then head off
Alright,
to
so this
TR.
looks like Zora area first. This is definitely the most dense light world area he has left, because he's got King's Tomb, he's got these four, and then there's nothing great left in the light world. He's got Powder. Yeah, I think I can't remember if Red Mail is one of the ones that turns into one of those double wide blue rupees, because Zora had blue mail, so he's going to give us a blue rupee instead.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Tso going through the back of Skullwoods. This will be the last dungeon before he goes into Turtle Rock. So if Megawatt finds the Ice Rod without finding his portal, he can still, even if Tso gets into Turtle Rock before he does, then he still should have a lead. And what looks like this thing is just a regular looking blue rupee, no double wide today. Though I think that save and quit there, I don't remember, I think that gets rid of your portal. So yeah, it looks like Megawatt is committing to not saving the portal skip, which can make sense because he's got a lot of checks that require the mirror. So if you try to keep your portal too long, it can come back to bite you. But the downside is, he's gonna have to find it really quick. But this looks like it'll be pretty close, because you got to think he's gonna go right up to Stumpy after this, right?
Hopefully.
But he might be in the swamp too, so that's another point, is that because he could either go north here, do K45 Stumpy and dig game, or he could fully commit to his skips and go into swamp. If it's swamp though, then I think that Tso's gonna have a pretty good lead here.
Yep, this is swamp.
Yeah, Megawatt's committing to his play. He skipped those locations earlier, and this is like what I was mentioning. Is like how it depends how you think about your skips. Because this seed, if you're Megawatt, you're thinking, okay, if Ice Rod was in those checks I skipped in Village of Outcasts, and this is just Jet Seed, you get your go mode in Mire Shed, you get to go mode 4 or 5 dungeons. My opponent probably is going to win anyway. But at this point, yeah, Tso is going to be quite ahead because even if Megawatt, say, skips left side and stuff, he's going to be a Turtle Rock ahead of Megawatt. There's no equalizer quite like the Ice Rod in this game.
No.
At least unless you're playing Key Sandy, then there's like 5 different ones with the various big keys.
Yeah. And the Swamp Small.
Yeah. And yeah, we saw Green Pendant turn into, I believe it was a Blue Rupee. And you think if you're a Tso, you gotta be just waiting for your opponent to be finishing for the past, like, for the next, like, 20 minutes. Or the past 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Definitely, not past 20 minutes, but like 20 minutes until you end the seed.
Yeah.
This was a potentially very fast seed. Very slow and a linear early game, but then once you get to the Dark World, turns out you just need to do Thieves Town, Stumpy, and Mire Shed, and you're just good. I guess you have to dip Skullwoods briefly, but even if you didn't do that, you get the Fire Rod, you go there. It's not even that bad. Megawatt is going to skip left side here.
There are 2 items there.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see him go back in for it. Because again, you're committing to your play. If you already went into Swamp and it's not here, then you're gotta think, okay, if I did Swamp for nothing, I'm probably done. So you go back in for left side and hope that it's there. Tso getting a bit bullied by the floating things. And as a reminder, this is one of those high-stake winner-go-home losers brackets matches, so winner will place either Schulzer or Gem. They'll face the loser of that match, which will be on Saturday. So definitely a high-stakes match. We'll get to see our Argus fight here from Megawatt. Down goes Argus for just Red Rupee. So nothing from Argus today. Skullwomp in general was pretty empty. We haven't even found one of our nice-to-have items like Burna, Silvers, or Cape. And yeah, as expected, Megawatt's going to go in here. At this point, you have to commit to your play. You got to play to make the plays that could win you the seed. Like if you go here, do some of Swamp, and then go back to Stumpy and find it, you're probably going to lose because unless your opponent also made a similar sort of decision, whatever decision they made is probably going to be quicker than doing Swamp. And yeah, this Turtle Rock for Tso has been a bit annoying for sure. And I think it is just coming down to like feeling like this seed hasn't gone particularly well for you because of the way that Hammer and Flute were in Thieves, and then it was basically go mode really quickly. So when you're playing this seed, you feel like, oh god, I routed this wrong. My opponent's going to be already done.
Yeah.
But you never know.
Rando gonna rando.
And I don't remember which chest in Laser Bridge had the key, but there is one.
It was the 3rd.
Alright, now onward to Trinex. Luckily, there's the full magic refill because Tso is running a bit low. Just enough to use
right
the
now.
Mariadet.
Ice Rod's on Stumpy.
Yeah, so basically for those tuning in late, Megawatt went into Thieves Town immediately, got Hammer and Flute, and then could clear out 3 dungeons, so he just went and cleared them, and then got the Fire Rod from Meyer, and then just went to the mountain. Or by Meyershed, I mean. So he didn't do it. I don't think he even did C-Shaped House or Brewery, much less Stumpy or Shovel Game.
Yeah, Megawatt not too pleased at that Swamp Palace.
No, definitely. You know that you're feeling like, okay, my opponent needs to have made a similar sort of gamble that I did, and not had a payoff. And yeah, so he's going to go and do Pyramid Fairy here, maybe even go up to Catfish, because you got to play to like, okay, what sort of plays could still win it for me here. Like Catfish is one that people can put off for quite a while. So I would not, now given that Megawatt didn't do Stumpy right away, I would not be surprised to see him do it very late.
And probably not wondering some of you may be wondering what those numbers are in chat. Those are that's the GT Big Key guessing game where you put a number between 1 and 22 for where you think the big key will be in Ganon's Tower.
Yep, there's the 22 checks, 1 torch, and 21 chests. I like to guess 14. How about you, VXR?
I'm gonna guess 6 for this one. I like to change it up.
I'd like to see the key be really early this seed, because then you're just thinking, oh, this is such a fast seed. How is my opponent not already done? And just the entire climb. You're just like, how are we not done yet?
Alright, you wanna go left first. Number 1 is just some bombs.
And it looks like Megawatt's going to do Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb as well over here. 3 is not the big key, 4 is the big key.
Cavalry Troid, I see guest 4, and also Hester.
Well, congratulations for your imaginary internet points. Just the climb left Tso, and always in these high-stake matches, it's one thing to be a top runner, and then knowing that you're against another top runner who could be done at any minute, it's definitely nerve-wracking to go through the climb here. And we'll get our first look at Catfish of the day, see maybe he gives us the silvers or something. Tempered Sword is very helpful for these little climbers. It's very nice to be able to one-shot those red Zazzix. I think Tso still has another fairy, so he should be fine even if he gets bullied a little bit by these Beamos. Grabs that fairy because you could powder this anti-fairy, or I mean this bunny beam, but it throws off the land mola cycle. So if you get a fairy for free, you may as well get that one.
Yeah. It's 2 cycle land mill.
Yeah, pretty nice gauntlet so far from Tso. And Megawatt will be shortly getting his ice rod and probably not feeling too great once he finds it.
And there's the eye roll.
Yeah, you're definitely not feeling great about that one, because that ice rod, it can be anywhere. You're thinking, oh, I could have just done... If I think that the flute hadn't been in Thieves Town, if the flute had been in like K45, I think that Megawatt does go south there to and goes to Hype Cave and Pod. But with the flute, he just decided to be a little bit more aggressive, and it did not pay off today. Tito's going for the hover here. Not surprising to see him go for that after doing the Spectacle Rock hover just to do a map check. But that's impressive to be able to do that hover with the end game nerves like that, like I was mentioning, or like he's expecting Megawatt to already be done. So doing that with the high stakes like this is very impressive.
All right, looks like 1 on the first one and then 2 on the second cycle.
Just missed getting that triple there. Down goes Aga. And yeah, for now, Tso maybe starting to feel like he's still in the race. He's getting into Ganon. His opponent's not done, even though you feel like he's been done for a while. Maybe you never know with Rando. You're never out. Oh, Tso misses the Trident spin, so won't be getting the double 1 cycle. But at least Ganon gives a nice... It's always nice when he gives a good second phase, if you get a 2-cycle phase 1. That spot is absolutely free to get a 1 cycle. Just gonna need to do 1 slash each time Ganon finally decides to stop warping here.
Any moment now.
He has to stop eventually.
It's like 10 warps there.
We'll get to see where our silver arrows are today.
In the tower.
So they were somewhere in the basement, because otherwise he would have said top of my tower. Which makes sense, because otherwise it was going to have to be like the second item of Tower of Hera or something. And Megawatt's going to be going into Trinex. It's going to be close. He'll be finishing Trinex about the time that Tso hits the dot on.
And there it is.
Yep, so Tso just going to have to cross this bridge, and he'll be moving on to the, I think it's the round of 24, I guess? I have no idea how losers. It's hard to do the math of losers brackets. But he'll be facing the loser of Gem and Schulzer. Get your GGs in chat for Tso. Also, Megawatt beats Trinex here, so definitely give these runners a follow after this race they gave us today. Looks like Megawatt is going to hit the forfeit, which completely understandable. You don't want to do GT after this. But yeah, definitely going to be a good game there for Tso. We'll see if the runners are going to join for an interview or not. And we're joined here by Tso. Good game there.
GG.
Guys,
So how are you feeling about that race after you went into Thieves Town and got the flute and the hammer like that?
over there when I find the hammer was like I made the wrong choice here, and I don't know how I'm gonna come back in this game. I thought about skipping all of South Dark World to try to gain some time, since I have already done all of the North Dark World plus Lenmo before Dark World Access. So I was thinking to myself, just rush all the progression, skipping all the slow checks during the dungeons. But since I was routing the temperate, I was like, I have to go for all the South Dark Road anyways, since I'm not skipping Hype Cave. And I was out. So why not just do the cave for 5 plus Stumpy? And first, when I found the ice rod there, was like, I didn't want the ice rod there because no way someone would have skipped Stumpy, right? But over the course of the seed, I think again. I thought again about the all the progression, all of the dungeons that we had open with the hammer plus flute, and I was like, maybe he rushed all the progression and skipped South Dark World, and that's the might be the only chance I have in this game, and thanks for me that happened, but unfortunately that's random. Some of the days you win the bet, some of the days you lose the bet. So just part of the game.
Yeah, for sure. And we're also joined by Megawott. Good games there, Megawott.
GG.
GG's.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough game there. You want to talk us through what your thoughts were once you came out of Turtle Rock without that ice rod?
So it had kind of been on my mind for a while what to do after I inevitably got to DDM and Turtle Rock and the ice rod still wasn't in my inventory. So I figured the big tipping point was probably going to be whether or not Tso dipped Skullwoods. I figured if he did, there's a chance he did the same thing I did, where he just immediately started rushing dungeons after Thieves Town. If he didn't, then he almost 100% does do South Dark World. Like, there's no realistic way in which you skip South Dark World there if you're still missing the cane. I think that's still far enough from Go mode to not justify rushing dungeons.
Absolutely.
But with the layout I had after Thieves Town, it just seemed the best idea to just start rushing towards all my crystals. I probably wouldn't have even gone straight to Hype Cave either if I hadn't known the sword was on Hylia Island. I probably wouldn't have gone to Turtle Rock before that, but I definitely would have pushed it off before, at least until after Ice and Mire and Pod. But yeah, I would do that play again. That situation, I had so much open to me. I had a lot of density. I had a lot of chances to stumble upon both my Go mode items. And I think if I had, this would have gone a lot differently. Just very unfortunate that the one area I was so close to checking but decided to skip because I was so close to Go mode is, of course, where it ended up being.
Yeah, for sure. I 100% agree with you. I would have done exactly the same if I was in your position, if I had dipped the TT first.
Yeah, because Megawatt, you were about 2 dungeons ahead of Tso because Tso had done Land Molus and Zora area and did Super Bunny Cave as a bunny, so you had just saved a lot of time on him.
Wow.
So it was definitely a close race. We were wondering if you had gone just to Stumpy, you still would have been ahead by a little bit. But it's hard to do that when you know that if your opponent already got it there, then they're probably going to win anyway.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Just because of where that cane was located, I had no way of knowing, is this a win or lose condition?
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. Where if you had gotten 1 fewer Go mode item from Skullwoods and Thieves, I don't think that it's a skip. You skip the South Dark World there, but you definitely have. You can play aggressively there once you get the cane and hammer and flute.
Yep, and that's basically what my game plan was up until it didn't work anymore. Feels bad, but that's rando.
Yep, and so Tso, you'll be going on to play the winner or the loser of Schulzer versus Gem, which their match will be on Saturday.
Yeah, the losers bracket is freaking stacked right now. All top 32 we had, I think, we were talking, me and Mega, before the race, that I think 3 out of the 8 first qualifier on the qualifier, first placers in the qualifier already, it's out of the tourney, so there's nothing such as an easy match here. So let's just hope for the best. Chem is a beast on all the tournaments that he's in. Schuster is having a great time recently on ladder, so it's gonna be a tough match.
Yeah, absolutely. There's never this whole bracket now. It's all good matchups, all stacked, which is tough for you guys as runners, but great for us as observers. So be looking forward to those matches.
Absolutely.
All right, so anything closing remarks before we head off tonight?
Just want to give a shout out for everyone who made the restream happen. Dane in VXR. I don't have on my mind who's on tracker, and everyone that watched it. And I hope you guys had a great time. And once again, GG's for Mega. It was a pleasure to race you.
GG's.
Yeah, thanks again. Definitely give our runners a follow for the great show they put on today. Also follow SpeedGaming with no number and SpeedGaming 2 through 6 if you want to catch more of these or catch some more league action. The league's got week 7 going on with the Randomizer co-op week, and then we'll be into the league playoffs. So there's definitely plenty of more exciting rando action from league. And also we've got the rest of the top 32 for this tournament, which, as we've mentioned a couple of times now, it's just completely stacked. We've got so many good matchups coming in. So definitely give a follow to these channels if you want to catch more of these. Give a follow to our tracker, Scott G, today. Did a great job with the tracker being a bit slow, but able to work through that as well and make sure his tracker is always up to date. It makes our job on commentary a lot easier. Also, shout outs to my commentator, VXR441, helping me out in the booth today.
Thank you, and shout outs to you as well.
Yeah, that'll be it for us. Thanks again for tuning in.
Have a good night.